going on, guys? It's me, David Decker Films here, and welcome back to an episode of Madden 17 Cleveland Browns Rebuild. In this episode, we're going to be doing year number 4 of said rebuild, and let's get right into it as usual. First, we're going to take a look at the starting lineup the moment I scroll right, and yes, here we go. So, our number 1 wide receiver will be Kelvin Benjamin. In the slot, we have Corey Coleman. At starting tailback, we have Sylvester Heron, a guy we just drafted with Superstar Development. Speaking of Superstar Development, we have Christian Shirley at quarterback. I believe this is his... this is his third year, right? Yeah, third year. And then we also have Willie Snead over there at our second wide receiver position. Clive Walford will be the starting tight end. And our offensive line took a bit of a downgrade because we did lose Joe Thomas. But we did pick up Catapano, you can see right there, at left tackle. He also has Superstar Development. So I expect a lot of these guys to start developing. Our right guard, Villarreal, he also has Superstar Development. So we're slowly building up this offensive line into a could-be offensive line, not currently good right now, if you know what I mean. Corner, Devontae Bullock and Nicole Roby-Coleman, along with Trey Waynes in the slot. I think that's a pretty good 3 corners. Speaking of good 3, we still have the triplets there, Dominic Easley, Danny Shelton, and Malik Collins. They're on the defensive line. And then to finish off the secondary really quick, to go back to that, we have Pierre-Paul, Charlie Pierre-Paul, right? Oh man, I forget already. You've got to be kidding me. How do I just forget? We have Charlie. I was going to go with Charlie. Charlie Pierre-Paul and Lunier Gabriel. 2 nice safeties up there. And the same linebacking core with Collins and Kirksey in the middle, with Flannery and Ford flanking on either side, rushing the quarterback. At kicker, we have Will Lutz. And at punter, we have Britton Colquitt. And now to quickly sim the season, skip the week 8 crap, we go 8-8, and I'm like, oh my god, you're not going to believe this in a second when I show you how close we were to making the playoffs. The Ravens 10-5-1, Steelers 10-6, and we did up beating the Bengals, which is nice. But look at this, the Chargers had the same record as us. They had the same record against division rivals. They have the same record against conference rivals. So it actually came down to points for, and they killed us there. So it came down to the 6th tiebreaker. I looked this up on NFL.com. The 6th tiebreaker they beat us by. That is absolutely insane. We were that close to making the playoffs, and this game continues to screw me over. Right there, we're going to sign back our trainer or scout or whoever it was. But let's take a look at the individual stats. Christian Shirley, another pretty solid season. The interceptions are pretty high. 24 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, over 3,000 yards. It could have been a little bit better there with the touchdown to interception ratio. Sylvester Heron, 331 carries, 1,114 yards, 3.4 average, and 10 rushing touchdowns. The average really isn't that good, but he did get close to 1,200 yards, which is sort of like what I want to get to in the running game. James White, 124 carries, 416 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. Now to move on to receiving, Willie Snead, 75 catches, 676 yards, and 0 touchdowns. Snead did not have a single receiving touchdown, although he led the team in receptions. Clyde Walford, 65 catches, 712 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Corey Coleman, 61 catches, 734 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He's just killing it there in the slot. And then Kelvin Benjamin on the outside, only 55 catches, 838 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So no receiver got over 1,000 yards, which is a little concerning. Although I guess that pretty much just shows how much depth we have. Hunter Catapano, I still cannot say his name without stuttering. He led the team in sacks with 11, but again, that's really not that much. And I'm actually pretty impressed. Look at that, Greg Manx did not give up a single sack, which is just perfect. And I'm pretty pleased with the offensive line. Jamie Collins led the team with 131 tackles. Tackles for a loss is led by Danny Shelton, only with 8. I'd like to see more numbers there in that category all around on it for every single player. Dominic Easley led in quarterback sacks with 14, Shelton with 9. Interceptions goes to Jamie Collins, who got 7 interceptions there at the middle linebacker position. He's one of the best zone coverage linebackers in the entire game, and he's just getting it done there in that zone coverage. Will Lutz, 13 for 17. Oh, man, missing. He keeps missing field goals. Every single kicker. I tried out Mr. Hurricane's kicker. I tried out Moonlight Swami's kicker. Both of them suck in simulation for me. I don't understand. Britton Colquitt, I guess another solid season. There's the punt return and kick return, blah, blah, blah. Now for around the league, Ben Roethlisberger led the league with 5,173 passing yards. And Jared Goff led the league in passing touchdowns, 42 passing touchdowns. Roethlisberger was in second with 41. Ezekiel Elliott with 1,644 yards. And let's see who leads touchdowns here in a second. He tied with Gordon Cody. Wasn't that the former rugby player? out of Michigan or whatever from the last draft. I don't know, but they both had 19 touchdowns. That's pretty impressive for both of them. Odell Beckham Jr. led the league with 120 catches, but Antonio Brown led the league with 1,708 yards, which is just insane. And then he also led the league with 15 touchdowns, 2 more than Tavon Austin. So I guess the Goff and Austin connection is finally starting to work. Matt Khalil led the league in sacks with 29, which is not good for him. That's lower than normal, however. Dante Hightower led the league with 165 tackles. Man, these guys are just tackling machines. I thought Collins would be up there for sure. Tackles for a loss, Ndamukong Suh. Sacks actually goes to Dante Fowler. He beat out Khalil Mack, which is something you don't normally say in Madden at all. Normally, it always goes to Khalil Mack. And look at this, Jamie Collins, first in interceptions. Actually, he's tied for first with Jalen Ramsey and Patrick Peterson. But if you're a middle linebacker and your name is up there with Jalen Ramsey and Patrick Peterson, that's pretty impressive. Those guys are top-of-the-line corners, and he's a middle linebacker competing with them. That's just insane. Best field goal percentage goes to Chris Boswell, who was 20 for 21. Number of punts, I might look at our punter here. No, I do not care. Yeah, I'm starting to lose patience. We were that close to making the playoffs, and at this point, I'm just like, all right, we just need to get through this, get to the decisions, get to the next episode, and hopefully we can do better, because I'm really losing patience here. Our offensive yards, we are way down at the bottom. We are third from the bottom. What the heck happened? Our superstar quarterback, superstar running back. Our offensive line was almost perfect. And we have a whole bunch of nice receivers, but our offense is just not doing anything. I don't understand. Our passing attack is way down there. Our rushing attack is about middle of the pack, I guess. But, man, our offense is really letting me down. And I don't think it's Christian Shirley's fault. Is it the receivers? Are they dropping a lot? I don't know. I probably should have taken a look at that. Our defense, about middle of the pack. If I saw that correctly, I just took a quick glimpse. Pass yards allowed, yeah, that's not good at all. Weren't we at the top for a little bit there in pass yards allowed? What happened to that? And we're only getting better. Our team is only getting better, but we're performing worse. I don't get that. That's what happened in the last episode. At least we did improve from the last episode, but I think this is a playoff team. We should have been in the playoffs. The 6th tiebreaker destroyed us. That's terrible. Red zone efficiency, yikes. Oh boy, we are way down there at the bottom. We need to start doing better in the red zone, start finishing drives. Penalties. 92 penalties for 808 yards. That's about good. We're not really penalized. I guess that's just how it is when you sim in Madden. Turnovers, we are a +5, and the Chargers are a +5. So look, we were the exact same team as the Chargers, I swear to God. Ben Roethlisberger is the MVP. How old is he now? I don't know. What year is this? This is year 4. So just take his current age and add 4. Chuck Pagano got Coach of the Year for the Dolphins. Roethlisberger is Offensive Player of the Year for the AFC, and his teammate Le'Veon Bell, the running back, is there in 2nd place. Dante Fowler Jr., Defensive Player of the Year. Steven Tant, Offensive Rookie of the Year, there for the Dolphins. I guess the Dolphins are pretty good now. And then Max Gammon, Defensive Rookie of the Year for the... It is Charlie Pierre-Paul. Okay, yeah. So he was Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Ravens, and then you can see Charlie Pierre-Paul got 2nd. E.J. Whitlock got Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC for the Saints. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Jalen Smith, who seems to always be up there. Stuart Rawls, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Kemnarvis Pinckney. Cannot say his name. I know he's a corner. Look at that. The top 2 guys I was going to draft in the last draft are their top 2 in the Defensive Rookie of the Year. So right here now in the Pro Bowl. Why am I not scrolling? I am so sorry for this. But let's take a look and see if we can see any of our players that made the list. Fullback 2 on the right. As you can see, we're going to be on the right. There's Griggs. He is our fullback. Let's see if we can find anybody else. There's a former Brown, Travis Benjamin. They freaking got rid of him. So much speed, and they let him go. Jordan Cameron, another Brown. Another Brown that went to the Dolphins, right? You've got to be kidding me. All of our former players are on here. Anyone else? Wait, didn't Zeitler go to the Browns in real life? I'm not sure. I know the Browns in real life are starting to build up that offensive line, like for a win-now type situation. Did they get Zeitler? I'm not sure. I forgot. I'm not really keeping up with them. There's Dan Shelton there at DT3, 3rd defensive tackle, and I'm trying to look for anybody else here. I do not see it. I'm surprised Jamie Collins didn't make it with all those tackles and almost leading the league in interceptions. You've got to be, he was leading the league. He was tied for 1st, and that's pretty much about it for us. Only 2 players there, right? Yeah, Griggs and Shelton were the only 2 players from our team to make the Pro Bowl. But now here we go in the playoffs. You can see the Chargers beat the Ravens, the Falcons beat the Packers, the Chiefs beat the Steelers, and the Saints beat the Bears. And now here the Chargers beat the Dolphins, Saints beat the Giants, What is this? Chiefs beat the Jaguars, and the Seahawks beat the Falcons. Man, it's hard to read this and like link it up. You don't know what I mean. Hopefully you do. I don't know what I'm trying to say. In the Super Bowl, the Saints go on to beat the San Diego Chargers. So, I don't know how the Saints won the Super Bowl without Drew Brees. Like, normally they would suck after he left, but let's take a look at retirees. I saw LaShady McCoy, Aqib Talib, Calais Campbell left. Holy crap, look at the Chiefs. Leckler, Miller, Charles, and Ali all retire. Holly, what is wrong with me? Sean Lee retires. That's sort of sad. I like Sean Lee because he's from Penn State. Adrian Peterson on the Eagles retires. Andy Levitri retires. Ramon Foster retires. Garrett Reynolds retires. 49ers need a left guard now. 2 left guards, actually. Jarrell Freeman retires. Marvin Lewis retires. He was the coach of the Lions there for a little bit. Will Tufuafu retires. Alex Smith retires on the Panthers. Julian Edelman retires from the Patriots. One of my all-time favorite players, Julian Edelman. What a beast. And then no one there in the bottom half. So, now to the re-signing stage, we're going to look to re-sign 2 key players, Malik Collins and Dominic Easley. We're going to offer Malik Collins a 5-year deal here. He is 25 years old on a pay until he's 30. He does accept that offer. But now Dominic Easley, I'm just going to give him a 2-year deal to round out his career pretty much until he hits 30. And he actually wants to go ahead and test out free agency. So that's unfortunate. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to bring that back. The triplets there, I mean. And Emmanuel Ogbah, in other rebuilding series, I just realized this, he's like the best pass rusher in the game, but we don't have a use for him now, so I'm just going to let him go. He wants a lot of money. Trey Waynes, he also wants a lot of money. I don't want that at all. Cody Kessler, we drafted him, but there's just no use for him either. He's just too good to be a backup. Jamar Taylor, we're going to offer a deal here, a 1-year contract. He is 29.76 overall, but he wants to go ahead and test out free agency. Adam Humphries, he's 27.76 overall. He's just a depth receiver along with Marcus Wheaton. We can replace both of those guys pretty easily. We can always go back to them too because I don't think they'll be picked up. But yeah, they were just depth players I just had no interest in bringing back because we could just get them for cheaper later in free agency because, again, I don't think anyone's going to pick them up. Derek Kindred here, 26 years old. We try to bring him back as a backup strong safety. He rejects our offer. Malcolm Huntington, we're going to offer to a 2-year deal. He's 24 years of age, 74 overall. Did he accept that? My eyes just glazed. What is wrong? I have trouble paying attention. Yeah, he re-signed. Gabe Wright, though, way too much money. He's going to go. We'll pick up a better defensive tackle there. Backup defensive tackle in free agency to play behind Danny Shelton. Britton Colquitt, we are going to withdraw our offer from him. He is starting to decline. 35 years old, 73 overall. Brian Cushing, yeah, oh man, he is just getting pounded there. He used to be one of like the premier middle linebackers in the league, but now we have to get rid of him. He is 33.72 overall. Carl Nassib, former Penn State player. That one pained me a lot because I do like me some Carl Nassib, but we're going to let him go. Ben Shepard, the guy we signed from the Seahawks practice squad a couple seasons ago, I think. Did we just re-sign him there? Why am I having trouble seeing this? I think let's just say we did. Okay, I think we did. To a short-term deal. Tyler Schuttler, a guy we drafted, I believe. We'll sign him back. Dyron Cody from the Cowboys, I believe we signed him from the practice squad or something like that. We're going to offer him a tiny deal, but he wants to test out free agency. Again, I could just probably go back and get him. Jalen Marshall, my patience, again, has run out with him. Nicholas Crutchfield, just no interest in him. He's just not that good with that 69-man coverage. That's just simply not good enough. Sean Coleman, backup right tackle. No, thank you. He doesn't really want that much, but it's just, eh. And then Matt McGloin, another Penn State player, but we're going to also let him go. And now here, back up to the top, I got rid of all the players that I wanted to sort of organize everything. And now Corey Coleman, this is one of the guys you have to pay in the slot, but he wants to test out free agency. And I was looking at the franchise tagger here. 1 year, $15.5 million. We're getting close to the cap with trying to pay all of these young players who could potentially develop into something. And that would just kill us, so I did not offer him that right there. But now we're here in free agency. I did offer Dominic Easley a contract, but then I said, hey, wait, look, there's A'Shawn freaking Robinson from Alabama, 25 years old, superstar development. Why not bring this guy in? He is so strong, so good. We're going to try to get him on the team to replace Dominic Easley and make a new triplets defensive front because he still is relatively young as well. Ryan Allen, we signed there as a punter. Well, we tried to sign. We offered him a contract. And now back here to Corey Coleman. We'll offer him a 2-year deal. And even if we don't pick up Corey Coleman, there was a lot of young, nice receivers here that, again, could potentially develop because we're not quite there yet where we can start paying the older guys that are better than the younger people, if you know what I mean. But yeah, there's Josh Doxson, Laquan Treadwell. We're gonna offer all of these guys 2-year deals. We're sort of gonna lowball them and see who signs and who doesn't. But if we could get all 3 of them, that would be fantastic. Then we could potentially trade Kelvin Benjamin and Willie Snead and just have a nice, young, solid, balanced wide receiving core, because they're pretty much like all balanced, except maybe Corey Coleman, who plays the slot. Actually, I think all 3 of them can play the slot. Woodrow Hamilton here, he is, I tried to get him. He looked like a hidden gem, but we'll see here in a second if we can get him. But look who we do get. We do get Laquan Treadwell. We do get Ashawn Robinson. That is nice. And we do get A.J. McCarron. He was from Alabama, right? Yeah, we're getting these Alabama boys. Oh, yeah. This is going to be good. Alabama, they're winners, all right? I want people who want to win, and they're winners. And I want winners, so I mean, it just works out perfectly. We're going to offer a backup defensive tackle right there, Carruthers, a contract. Never really heard of him before. He accepts. Corey Coleman accepts, which is nice, and Ryan Allen accepts. So now we're going to look back here at Josh Doxson, and you can see the Colts are a pain in my side. I cannot outbid them with only $10.7 million in cap room, and that is unfortunate. Now $14 million. But here we go. Kelvin Benjamin. Well, I think he's like 29 years old or something, but he's already starting to decline, and he's not going to get any better. So just remember this. This is when you trade guys. When they're not going to get any better, when they're starting to decline, trade them. Or maybe right before they decline. That's what Bill Belichick does. We're going to trade him in a second for a first-round pick, a very high first-round pick. We're going to go here in free agency and look at Adam Humphries again. Again, we're going to offer him like a 10-point contract. So, and we lowball him, and he accepts the offer. See what I mean? Like, he wanted so much more money there in the re-signing stage. So, to take a look around the league, Dak Prescott goes to the 49ers. A lot of these guys' names I cannot pronounce. There's David Onyemata. I know him from Moonlight Swami's franchise. Tyreek Hill goes to the Niners. So it's Prescott and Hill to the Niners. Look at Landon Roberts to the Niners. My God, the Niners are going to be stacked. They must have had so much cap room. Jelani Jenkins there also to the Niners. He's 26, a nice pass rusher, already 86 overall. And Josh Doxson there to the Colts. That bugs me. But now here to start the NFL draft. Let's see what picks we have. I actually forget. We have, the first overall pick. Did we just trade for that with Kelvin Benjamin? I'm not sure. I think we did. But here we go. Angelo Gilberry won the Heisman, superstar development, but we don't really need a safety. Like, he's a fantastic player. Look at the combine. Look at his attributes. I like him a lot, but we don't need a safety. Gregory Elliott. He also has superstar development. He was fantastic in the All-Star game with 2 sacks and a forced fumble, which is nice. Again, good combine, good traits. There's Trey Cole. He could potentially replace Kelvin Benjamin that we just lost the trade for this pick. He's younger. He's a red zone threat. He's that big body type receiver that Kelvin Benjamin was. And then there's also Blake Murdoch from Ohio State. He's pretty much the perfect lineman that we could bump to right tackle because Austin Pastor is declining. And I'm going to go with Blake Murdoch. His combine is too good to pass up. Here we go. 78 overall, quick development, 89 strength, 81 run block, and 84 pass block. I think that this is the best option for our team. We're still trying to build up that offensive line, and I do like Blake Murdoch a lot. Now here, simming the first 5 picks, there goes Unerdle, a defensive tackle to the Jets. I thought he went relatively high, but we'll see all of these players after the draft and see what they rank. There's Gregory Elliott, definitely superstar development because he did good in the All-Star game. Trey Cole, the wide receivers were good as this year as the corners were last year. And as you can see, the wide receivers are just pouring off the board right now. There goes Gilberry to the Patriots. We'll also take a look at him. He does have superstar development. And although number 5 there, the Bengals selected Harold. I think they reached for that greatly because I don't remember Harold being in the top 5 wide receivers on the board at that point. You can see everyone else here. Not a lot, just a lot of wide receivers going in the top 10 pretty much. And now I'm going to do something that I normally don't do, and it's going to be trading up. I'm giving up a first, second, and a third for a first-round pick from the Titans. 11 overall. I'm going for it. So there's DJ Skinner, a halfback. I think he was like some sort of Olympic, he was thought to follow his father's footsteps and go to the Olympics, but he chose football instead. There's Watts DeLoach, who just looks like an absolute monster. His attributes are just absolutely amazing, and his combine was pretty good too. There's also Raphael Scroggins, a 3-4 run stopper that we could potentially put there in the middle, but we did just get Ashawn Robinson, and there's still the triplets there. Antarius Onabun, not really sure how to say his name, another guy just like Scroggins. And it looks like the guy we're going to go with is Watts DeLoach as the backup defensive tackle behind Danny Shelton. Let's see what he turns into. Maybe he could potentially replace Danny Shelton, and that's a very solid pick. He's ranked number 2 in true talent. We got him at number 11. He's 78 overall, 87 strength, and 82 block shedding, 81 power moves. If we could bring the power moves up there, he will be an absolute monster because he has the size, he has the weight, he can get the job done. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, except this time with the Cowboys, and I'm going to trade up to pick number 19. We have tons of draft picks that I've accumulated over the last years, and we're going to try to give them away. DJ Skinner, still up there, that his father was Olympic medalist or whatever. There's Onneburn, there's Scruggins, pretty much the same people. But I said, hold on a second. We still need that corner. Remember all the corners I gave up last year? I'm like, we need a corner to play on the other side of Devontae Bullock, who is an absolutely fantastic player. If we can get another one, we will establish a young no-fly zone that will last for decades. And here we go. He is ranked number 1 in true talent. Emmanuel Poindexter, 81 overall, quick development, 91 speed, 84 man coverage, 88 zone coverage, 80 press, 93 acceleration, 90 agility. He is the perfect corner. Him and Devontae Bullock, they are going to be shutdown corners. This is so good. We're bringing our secondary together, and here we go. Darion Woodson was a rugby star. He's that center I was looking at. There's still DJ Skinner there. Again, following his father's footsteps, blah, 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 blah. Marcus Whitted, I didn't really look at him the previous couple times. I'm like, hey, there's still Marcus Whitted up there, a halfback. He looks pretty good. But I'm going to be going with Darion Woodson right here. Nice attributes, excellent combine. And we get him there at 76 overall, superstar development. 20th in true talent. I don't know why I skipped over him so fast, but he's an absolute monster. Now here in round number 3, can we continue this draft? This draft is one of the greatest. Actually, it is the greatest I've ever done. Better than the what was it, year 2 draft for the year 1 draft for the New York Giants franchise. We're gonna go fullback. He's had a good combine, but that didn't really work out good. And I'm just going to spoil it now. There was another fullback on the board that I take a look at. There was a story about, and he was a better player than the fullback we just drafted. So that's unfortunate, but I probably should have traded that one away, just like all of these picks right here. There's really no one else left in the draft, so I'm just trading these away, building them up for next year, building them up for years to come for just more and more picks. See, like this right here, this one pick just turned into 2. One late round pick turned into 2 late round picks. So if you can just multiply them like that, that's pretty good. Now here in the 6th round, actually, we're going to be taking a look at Cedric Suggs. Oh my god, we're still going! We are still going! Ranked number 13 in true talent, we got in the 6th round. Oh my god, 78 overall, 92 speed, 80 man coverage, and 82 zone coverage with quick development. You've got to be kidding me. We are on fire! Now right here in the strongest middle linebacker, Duncan Richburg from New Hampshire. That A- tackle is nice, and I'm not upset. You might say, oh, he's just 72 overall. I actually pretty much like, he's a pretty good player. We could put him in there, maybe rotate him around, except I don't play the game, so I guess I can't really rotate him. Now here are the final 2 picks. I was just looking at these athletic freaks with the 7.3 and 7.5 combine stats, and I just decided to draft them. They didn't really turn out to be much, as you can see, 66 overall and 68 overall. But this draft was just so good. And now here to take a look, that guy Unerdal that I said I was surprised that went that high because he really wasn't on my draft board at all. He was an 81 overall. Gregory Elliott, there he is, 79 overall. Although his strength is not that good. Look at that, only 80 strength, but he does have that superstar development. Trey Cole there, that went to the Vikings. Another guy that I was looking at that could potentially replace Kelvin Benjamin. He turned out to be pretty solid, and so did this Harold guy. I must have just completely missed up on him as well. There's the Heisman winner, Angelo Gilberry, went to the Patriots, free safety, 78 overall, superstar development. That looks pretty good right there. Raphael Scroggins, 91 strength. That's very good. He's 79 overall, but normal development. Normal development is not a bad thing when you're drafted that high. By the way, I'm just saying that. DJ Skinner, 77 overall, superstar development. And now there's that Onneburn guy I was looking at. So all of these, I mean, I couldn't really have gone wrong with any of these picks. All of them turned out to be pretty good. Now here after the draft and the recap of the draft, we're going to be moving Darion Woodson to right tackle to replace Austin Pazder, who's going to move down to backup right tackle. And we're also going to go through and fill out our roster. There's Dyron Cody. Look at that. I can get him for $1.78 million for 1 year. That's exactly, like, you don't always have to re-sign guys right away in the offseason. If you know no one is going to pick them up, you can just wait till later and sign them for extremely, extremely cheap. Cyrus Jones, he hit the free agency after the draft, 76 overall. I'm like, why not bring him in then? Although he's been an absolute disaster for the Patriots in real life. But here we go. We are still trying to improve this team. Shirley has Willie Snead, Corey Coleman, Laquan Treadwell. It was sort of a downgrade from Kelvin Benjamin, I'll admit that, because now there's no red zone threat on this team. Maybe Clive Walford, but I don't know. Shirley is definitely getting better, though. Our offensive line is going to be extremely, extremely good. And I'll say, like, maybe 1 year, maybe even next episode, if they start developing like crazy, it'll be insane. We got 3 superstar development guys on that offensive line, right? Did Darion Woodson have superstar development? I forget. It was either superstar or quick, but we're getting the job done there on the offensive line. We're starting to build that up. Our secondary is so good. Look how young they are. Look how good they are already. We'll build them up for years to come. Ashawn Robinson took a pretty, now I'm starting to worry about the cap, though. Like, our defense is very good. Our front 7 is fantastic, but the cap is starting to scare me a bit. And we're going to have to deal with that in the next episode. A spoiler alert. Comment, rate, subscribe, your veggies. Go to school, take our phones out. Peace!